Hey, what's going on guys? Broken Machine here. Hope you guys are all doing good today. In this video I thought I'd do another tutorial, just a few things that I believe could drastically improve your gameplay overall. Not scripted today, just a few things, couple of tips. Let me know what you think about them, and if you have any of your own, drop a comment down below. First question, do you ever find yourself kinda zoning out? I do some days. It's become a problem for me, especially when running across open areas. Quite annoying, isn't it? Well, a good tip I found if you ever find yourself doing this is to try and scan the horizon as much as possible. Well, actually, maybe not too much, but a little scan here and there will definitely help you stay awake and stay alert. Also, have you noticed I switch weapons quite a lot while moving around the map? I keep getting asked about that these days. Well, it's an old habit that helped me stay alive while playing Search and Destroy back in Call of Duty, and these days I use it in CSGO from time to time. You guys should give it a go here and there. Not too often though, just here and there. When you're waiting on a flag, for example, maybe sat in a corner holding an angle, and occasionally while running across an open area. It definitely can be a bad habit if done too often, but it could help you out in some places, especially when you need to defend or wait for the enemies to arrive. So try it out for yourself, let me know what you think about it and see if it helps you. I've talked in the past about how warming up is a good way to improve your gameplay. Playing a round of TDM or War Pigeons before jumping into larger player modes is perfect. But have you ever tried ditching the warm up and just throwing yourself in the deep end? I do it almost daily on livestream in front of 1,000 people, sometimes even more. Just switch on the console, start streaming, and then boom, I'm straight in. I found this is a great way to see where my raw skill is at, my current strengths and weaknesses, and just how alert and awake I really am. You may not be streaming live in front of a huge audience, but the act of throwing yourself in may just be what you need to improve your own gameplay. Now, raw skill, what do I mean by that? Well, that's the real skill, the thing you want to be improving on. And the only way you'll really know where you're at, where your raw skill is at, is by jumping straight in and just being honest. See how your aim is, your map knowledge, your prediction skills. Make a mental note of what you're good at and what needs improving, and work on them. Jumping straight in leaves you vulnerable, a place I'm sure many will try and run away from, probably where most will probably pick up a Hellregal and play it safe. Don't be that player, don't run away from it. I know getting shredded on your first game kinda sucks, but that space, that vulnerable space, is a good place to be. Try and get comfortable with it. If you want to get better, that's my advice. That's where you want to be. That's where you really want to try and get comfortable with being in. The players who are improving quickly, who are able to break bad habits and get good, they allow themselves to be in that vulnerable space, that mindset, that space, whatever you want to call it. Try and get to that place, trust me. Jumping straight in and just seeing what your raw skill is at, it's just so perfect, and I cannot stress this enough. If you keep doing that on a daily basis, you're gonna really see how good of a player you really are and where your strengths and weaknesses may lie. Definitely recommend. Now, of course, I don't know where you're at overall skill-wise, but I know from experience, allowing myself to be vulnerable and accepting whatever happens, and not making excuses and pointing fingers, that's where I started to see improvement. Yes, honestly, I do complain here and there, damn medics, come on team, all that, but I try to not allow it to affect my own performance. If you're not doing the same, you should be. You gotta try and just let it go, I guess. Mindset plays a massive role in your performance for sure. I did a whole video on this a while back, don't want to repeat myself here of course, but here's a few tips. Just relax, whatever happens, accept it. Be calm, focus on playing better, accept the pain, the fails, the misses, the bad decisions, accept them all as learning experiences. Don't get too hung up on them. If you die, be okay with it. See what happened, can you learn from it? Yes you can, of course. You can always learn from everything that happens in the game. See where the enemies came from, how they moved in the gunfight, what weapons were they using, explore what happened and try to take something from it and learn from it. Rinse and repeat, gunfight after gunfight, map after map, and you'll become such a better player. Also, take all these moments, what you've learned about them, your strengths, your weaknesses, and use these to create your own challenges. Say your aim isn't that great. That day, set yourself the challenge of, instead of playing defensively and waiting for players to come to you, instead be more aggressive and aim at every target you see. Forcing yourself into gunfights is a fantastic way to improve your aim quickly. Or maybe your aim is good, but your weaknesses that day was prediction. Maybe that wasn't that great. So maybe the challenge you need to set yourself is to take in more of your environment, focus more on how people play the map, where they tend to camp, rush, where choke points and open areas are, where people go first on the map, what areas are busy, that kind of thing. Rinse and repeat every game, take in all that information, and your map knowledge will improve. Obviously, I can't give you the answers here. Just try and be vulnerable, you know, be honest with yourself and work on what needs improving. I keep mentioning this word vulnerable here, and it's really key. You know, don't be that safe player that just jumps in on the same maps, playing in the same way, using the same weapons, you know, the Hell Regal. A lot of people use that, and there's so many other great options, especially the medic weapons now. The auto-loading extended is perfect right now. You gotta give it a go. And, you know, that word is key. You know, allow yourself to fail, accept the mistakes, you know, don't fall into these safe ways of playing. You've got to be vulnerable, and in many ways, you know, mindset, the way you play, you just got to allow yourself to be more vulnerable in the way you approach the game in general. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Also, make sure you're not challenging every player you see. That's a massive mistake so many people make. It's okay not to engage all the time. Finding cover or a better position may be a wiser option. And also, don't be afraid of backing off. Knowing when it's not your fight, when you're not going to beat your opponent, is one of the most underrated skills out there. If your weapon sucks at a certain range, your health is too low, your positioning is terrible, maybe too out in the open, whatever disadvantage you may have against your opponent, try to recognize these disadvantages and anticipate them happening, and you'll become a much better player. Anticipating enemies is really what it's all about. Unfortunately, we can't predict everything, so you know what good players do instead? They flank as much as possible. Flanking is attacking your enemies from the side. Do this as much as possible, and not only will you see more enemies who are not looking at you, you'll get more kill streaks, you'll probably take more flags as well, and you'll generally have a much easier time on the battlefield. And that's where I'll end this one. Hope all that made sense. I probably went on a little bit too long there in places. I do want to do longer guides, more map guides too, and if there's anything else you want me to talk about, drop a comment down below. Cheers guys, thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you tomorrow as well. Take it easy guys, catch you later.